If you are looking around your home and thinking to yourself, oh my gosh, I have got to simplify, I've got to declutter, I've got to organize, but you cannot because you are so spent, so exhausted, so overwhelmed that the idea of taking on another big project is too overwhelming. You are not alone. The truth is, when we are emotionally exhausted and overwhelmed, we just don't have the capacity to take on another thing in our lives. We need practical solutions that work with our energy levels at the time instead of depleting them even more. Today I'm going to be sharing with you some tiny, itty-bitty micro solutions that you can implement into your life to help create not only space, but ease, so that you can feel energized, replenished, calm, and yes, simplify your home. Why does traditional advice when we are supposed to be decluttering and organizing fall short when we're exhausted? Simply because the advice is already assuming that you have the energy reserves to tackle what needs to be done, which can feel very frustrating when you're struggling. It requires sustained focus and energy that you really probably don't have right now. Also, there is that decision fatigue that happens, and even the basic decision like decluttering into the 3 piles of give, keep, and throw away feels very daunting at that moment. Traditional advice usually assumes that you have the internal motivation, and motivation is required when you are trying to tackle decluttering your entire house or simplifying your life in some way. Also, when we are feeling emotionally depleted, we're a little bit sensitive and vulnerable. I know I am. When I am tired, the tiniest thing can bring me to tears. So trying to sort through any kind of sentimental or keepsake box really pulls at my heartstrings, and I want to keep everything. Traditional advice focuses on doing instead of just being. And when you're emotionally depleted or tired or exhausted, you don't really have the capacity to continue doing. Therefore, it misses the emotional needs that you really need to address. When you are emotionally exhausted, it's important to break down decluttering and organizing into the smallest tasks possible. Start with just a countertop. I always like to do the nightstand because it's right by your bed, and that should be a soothing place for you to be. It's also very small, so very manageable to declutter. Do the 5-minute rule. Only declutter or organize a room for 5 minutes at a time, and then set a timer. Take a break, even for a couple of hours, and come back to it. Or maybe you just need like a 10-minute break for a cup of tea, something so that you aren't getting so worn out. Remove obvious trash first. The things that you don't have to think about, that you know you can get rid of very quickly. Creating drop zones in your house to keep your home nice and tidy without thinking about it. The entryway is the first place to look. So when you first come in the house, make sure you have a place to hang up your coats, your purses, and to drop your keys. Simplify your morning routine. The best thing I ever did to simplify my mornings was to create a capsule wardrobe. This limits the decisions that I need to make and makes it really easy to get ready every day. Let's address some maintenance-free strategies to help you simplify your life. Because when you are emotionally drained, you need everything to be as simple as possible. So once you do declutter an area, you want to be able to maintain it with little effort. Reduce options where you can, because the less options you have, the less you need to organize. Put everything in baskets or drawers where it can be messy in the drawer just fine, but kind of that out of sight, out of mind. Implement the one-touch rule. Once something is in your hand, put it away and avoid creating little piles around your house. This really causes a lot of visual distraction, and you're just creating work for yourself later on down the road. Get rid of anything that is a duplicate item. So don't use 10 spatulas, get it down to maybe just 1 or 2, this kind of thing. This is a great way to declutter without putting a lot of thought into it. I think one of the things that we struggle with is giving ourselves permission to slow down, to rest, and to honor how we're feeling. Perhaps putting up a positive affirmation for yourself this week, something along the lines of, I give myself permission to honor my mind, body, and spirit. Understanding and honoring your body's natural energy cycles throughout the day will really help tremendously when you are already feeling overwhelmed. Identify the times or the hours in the day when you feel like you have the most energy, you're cognitively sharp, and you are most motivated. Use these windows of time to tackle difficult tasks for yourself. Match the tasks that you're planning for yourself in accordance with your energy levels. If you are already exhausted, this is probably not the time to go out and do yard work. If you are tired, do something that requires little energy levels. A great technique that I use is I block out times of my day for certain activities, or batching, as sometimes it's called as well. This is great so that you're not using up your energy or your mental ability constantly switching from one activity to another. So if you are designating time for computer work, have it all in one time zone, maybe a couple of hours or 1 hour in the day. And then you can shift your focus to household organizing or cleaning. But by batching them, we're not constantly demanding our brain to go from one topic to another and then back again. Allowing yourself grace to have rest periods or maybe even days. Recovery when we are emotionally depleted or physically tired doesn't happen instantly. And by just saying, you know what, I'm tired and I need a rest, and honoring that is the biggest self-care you could ever give yourself. Build in rest for yourself. Whether you have a busy schedule, you know that's coming up. And so scheduling in 5 to 10 minutes of just downtime, whether you're sitting in your car with your eyes closed, listening to some soft music or taking a walk around the block or just laying down. You don't even have to sleep, but just resting to really rejuvenate your mind and body. And let yourself off the hook. Accept that you're going to have days where you're productive and you're feeling like everything's fantastic. And then you're going to have days when you're tired, you're drained, and everything seems really overwhelming and difficult. You're not meant to be productive and the top of your game every minute of every day. So give yourself grace. A little progress each day adds up to big results. Remember, decluttering when you are exhausted is not about transforming your entire life overnight. It's about creating small pockets of peace so that you can heal and replenish. Start really small, just your nightstand, and see how that makes you feel. Honor where you're at. Give yourself grace and compassion for what you are emotionally and physically going through right now in your life. And understand that your good right now is good enough. Have a beautiful day, my friend.